Dear friends, we are truly delighted and feel honored to invite you in our program Janpahal Ek Samvad on KABF 88.3 megahertz. Today we have our guest in our studio, Arushi. Arushi, welcome to our
Thank you so
studio.
much for having me, Nirmalji.
It's been a great delight to see you.
Same.
I just want to ask you very casually one thing, that you're young and vibrant, and I could see you could have joined other areas where you could have excelled. I just want to ask you that what has led you, what has motivated you to devote yourself or dedicate yourself for the social service?
Wow. So I feel that this is something that sort of got ignited when I was a child only.
Okay.
I think there are certain instances in life that really shapes who you are. So I still remember I was very young. I was in school back then, and my cousin, we were dropping my cousin to the railway station in December or January. It was very cold. All of us were very packed. I had like mufflers on, caps on, and we go to the railway station, and there I see this woman, she had a little baby in her hand, and she just had a little thin sari wrapped around her. The baby hardly had any clothes. And I remember I was very young. I think I was 6, 7 years old. And then I just saw that, and it moved me. I was like, I don't know why there is so much like inequality. I could not think much, of course, because I'm a kid, but that visual sort of remained with me. And then I remember we used to have these Helpage India and all in school. I joined that. Then we had a lot of like fundraising, volunteering.
Okay, one thing
Yeah.
that struck me is
Yeah.
that you were too young to understand this world. A young girl of say 6 years or 7 years of age, how could she be so sensitive? This is something very, very amazing.
See, it is very tough for me to answer it like I can't put rationale to this, right?
Okay,
Because I
right.
feel that there's some things you just feel.
Yeah.
So if you are in an environment that is very loving and caring, and you see that is not being reflected around you, I think it could have been one reason perhaps for me to be sensitive about that, I think.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So but then school also gave us a lot of opportunity. I think school is one place.
Mhm.
So we end up organizing a lot of like fundraising
Okay.
for people, let's say, who are affected by floods and situations like that. Clothes may we'll have like this drive, winters made. So we got involved eventually. And then I started interning with a couple of NGOs and civil society organizations.
All
So I had that in me. It just like in my heart, I was not satisfied. I was like, I wanted to have a good night's sleep.
Okay.
And that would only give me when I'm at a place where the things are happening, they're in motion, all theory and no work is not something that is very like makes me very shakes the core of me. So I thought let's take a break from academia, and then I started getting back to social work. So it took like a few years, and then I got back here, and that's how I landed up at Janpahal, because there was an opening. I went and interest matched. So here I am. I mean,
your story is sounding very, very interesting, and I would love to continue it.
Yeah.
But at that moment, I would love to ask you one thing. Do you have any particular song for our honorable viewers and our listeners who are watching this program or listening to this program? Would you like to quote any particular song? Of Hindi cinema?
I'm a huge fan of like music, and especially like retro Bollywood songs.
Okay.
So I feel that there's this particular big fan of Rafi and Kishore Da. So I'll be taking their names a lot. So there's this one particular song which is called Zindagi Ek Safar Hai Suhana.
Okay.
Jaane Kal Kya Ho,
Kisne Jana. Right? Very, very, very philosophical.
Most of the songs I listen to are like that.
It serves a meaning to this life, Dear viewers, my dear listeners, please watch this particular song sung by Kishore Kumar.
जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना। हाँ, जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना। ओडले ओडले हो, ओडले ओडले हो, ओडले ओडले हो, ओडले ओडले हो। हंसते गाते जहाँ गुजर, दुनिया की तू परवाह न कर, हंसते गाते जहाँ से गुजर, दुनिया की तू परवाह न कर, मुस्कुराते हुए दिन बिताना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना, आज जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना। टिट 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 ओले ओले हो, टिट 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 ओले ओले हो, ओले ओले हो, ओले ओले हो। मौत आनी है आएगी एक दिन, जान जानी है जाएगी एक दिन, अरे मौत आनी है आएगी एक दिन, जान जानी है जाएगी एक दिन, ऐसी बातों से क्या घबराना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना, हर जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना। टिट 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 टिट
Your story is very, very interesting. And I just want to ask you that you are currently working for an organization. What's your role in particular, and how do you manage it?
So I started working at Janpahal about like 6 months ago,
Oh, right.
and started working at the capacity of a program officer.
Mhm,
And primarily, I had to take care of the communication that was there,
mhm,
and it kind of like moved towards advocacy
Mhm.
because there are a lot of people
mhm.
who are on the field, and we work primarily with platform-based gig workers, street vendors.
Okay.
So they had a lot of issues on the ground. So we have fellows and people working our team who are on the field.
Yeah.
They would report to us,
Mhm.
and then we would like probably collaborate and communicate to the desired government agency so that the issues are being taken care of. What started with communication and advocacy, it kind of what happened is I got interested in street vending and issues of street vendors,
Okay.
and then I gradually moved towards that.
Okay.
So we realized I also got like I'm a FOSTAC trainer by FSSAI.
Okay.
So we train
That
the
is
food.
Prasad, no?
Yeah, no, it's called FSSAI.
Okay,
They don't
okay.
like calling it
All
FSSAI.
right,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
right, all right,
They're
all
very
right.
particular. So I'm one of the trainers, and we
Okay.
train street vendors on like
Mhm,
street food hygiene
mhm.
and sanitation, so that the
Mhm.
quality of street food and people's trust in it could increase primarily.
Mhm.
So that is what we started doing. Then we have a lot of markets and the issues around the areas where you have like where street vendors are placed. There are a lot of, because they face a lot of problems of eviction and harassment.
Okay.
So we have a team there, and then we communicate with the officer who are required on the ground,
All right,
and then at the government's office.
that's fine. That's
So,
wonderful.
yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to share. There's a lot to talk about it. But I'm time bound. you know.
Yeah, sure.
So just if you can share with me which particular song would you like our listeners or our viewers who are watching this program.
So I think it is a very old song, but I heard it around COVID when there was this film of Pankaj Tripathi, and there's this song called "Kismat Ki Hawa Kabhi Naram Kabhi Garam,"
Okay.
and I really like the song. So then I googled, and then I got to know it's from a film called Albela,
Okay.
and I think it's a very nice song. Like I really enjoy the song, so I think I would recommend that song to the listeners.
Which song is this?
Kismat Ki Hawa Kabhi Naram
Okay.
Kabhi Garam.
ओ बेटा जी, ओ बेटा जी, अरे ओ बाबूजी, किस्मत की हवा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी, किस्मत की हवा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी। बड़ी अकड़ से बेटा निकले घर से एक्टर होने, बाहरी किस्मत वहाँ रे किस्मत किस्मत में थे लिखे बर्तन धोने, अरे भाई लिखे बर्तन धोने। ओ बेटा जी, जीने का मजा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी, अरे ओ बाबू जी, किस्मत की हवा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी। दुनिया के इस चिड़िया घर में तरह तरह का जलवा, मिले किसी को सूखी रोटी किसी को पूरी हलवा, अरे भाई किसी को पूरी हलवा। ओ बेटा जी, खिचड़ी का मजा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी, अरे ओ बाबू जी, किस्मत की हवा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी। दर्द दिया तो थोड़ा थोड़ा, खुशी भी थोड़ी थोड़ी, वहाँ रे मालिक वहाँ रे मालिक, दुख और सुख की खूब बनाई जोड़ी, अरे वाह खूब बनाई जोड़ी। ओ बेटा जी, जीवन का नशा कभी गरम कभी नरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी, अरे ओ बाबू जी, किस्मत की हवा कभी नरम कभी गरम, कभी नरम नरम कभी गरम गरम, कभी नरम गरम नरम गरम। ओ बेटा जी।
Arushi, you are actually what I feel that you are imparting very relevant and very interesting conversation is going on. And I'm motivated to ask you one thing that you are working for street vendors, as you told me earlier. What specifically, how your intervention is going to impact the street vendors in particular?
That's a very interesting question, sir. As you know, that street vendors are a part of India's cultural and economic milieu, okay, and they provide livelihood to millions of Indians.
Okay.
But the real question is, are their lives, like, are their livelihoods secured? Do they have vending rights? Because street vendors are there, and the question is that, they're on the streets out there, but they continuously face problems of eviction and harassment,
Okay.
issues of no vending zone. I
Okay.
mean, street vending has been such an old thing in India, but they got an act very recently, a decade ago, 2014, where an act came to secure their livelihood and their regulate the street vending practices in India. But the issue continues to remain because we are on the field. The problem is that there are a lot of areas which are declared as non-vending zones, and vendors do not have spaces to vend.
Okay.
Then they face continuous harassment and evictions from public. Ignore that. Let's go on the street. Are the streets friendly to the vendors? The question is that are vendors, maybe let's go about, let's talk gender wise, I think the problems male face and the problems female face are very different. Females have a lot of issues of security, clean sanitation. They are not provided that. Water, electricity, clean roads. That is a major issue that face both the gender actually. The sanitation could be a problem for female more than men. And looking at the continuous climate change, heat has also become a very big problem, especially in a city like Delhi, where the temperatures have started to soar to 50 degrees Celsius. I feel that it is very dangerous because they do not have proper cover. Sometimes the vending, the car do not have a shed as well on their head. So in the heat they are standing, the issues of food, especially the street vendors who are selling food.
Apart from this pollution.
Yeah, apart from the pollution.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are other issues as well, right?
Mhm.
Especially the issues of heat. Pollution is a thing that happens post Diwali, and it is there as well, but it worsen after Diwali in a city like Delhi. But the cold is a problem, the heat is a very big problem. So the questions of basic sanitation, is the street friendly to the street vendors? And then you come to the food category. So I started to see that there are a lot of people who eat a lot of food, who are dependent on the street vendor for food. But then there another section in the country who are very wary of eating at a street food vendor, because they feel that the quality could be very questionable. So what we are trying to do is, we have recently collaborated with this organization called FFF, Food Future Foundation, and we are trying to come up with an idea called Safe Street Food Seal, so that we could develop a trust in consumer and increase and strengthen the livelihood of the street food vendors, so that they could have a better capture of the market and the audience.
Very interesting, very interesting. Yeah, Arushi, I would love to continue this conversation with you, but in the meantime, I just want to ask you that, do you have any specific number for our viewers to watch or listen to?
Most of my songs are retro, as I said initially. The other song I'd like to recommend is Jeena Kisi Ka Naam Hai by Mukesh.
Okay.
Yeah. Very famous Bollywood singer.
I think this particular film is Anadi, no?
Yeah, that film. It has
dear viewers,
Rajkumar
please
in it.
do listen to this song.
किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है। किसी की मुस्कुराहटों पे हो निसार, किसी का दर्द मिल सके तो ले उधार, किसी के वास्ते हो तेरे दिल में प्यार, जीना इसी का नाम है। माना अपनी जेब से फकीर है, फिर भी यारो दिल के हम अमीर हैं। माना अपनी जेब से फकीर है, फिर भी यारो दिल के हम अमीर हैं। मिटे जो प्यार के लिए वो जिंदगी, जले बहार के लिए वो जिंदगी, किसी को हो ना हो हमें तो एतबार, जीना इसी का नाम है। रिश्ता दिल से दिल के एतबार का, जिंदा है हम ही से नाम प्यार का। रिश्ता दिल से दिल के एतबार का, जिंदा है हम ही से नाम प्यार का। के मर के भी किसी को याद आएंगे, किसी के आंसुओं में मुस्कुराएंगे, कहेगा फूल हर कली से बार बार, जीना इसी का नाम है।
So, Arushi, we have already resumed our conversation. Tell me that street food safety, you're working on that. That particular seal is being provided by your organization so that it could ensure the safety of the consumers. So, what developments have taken place, and what is your experience in this regard, particular?
Thank you. It is still a baby. It
Yeah.
is at a very fetal stage.
Yeah.
So what we are trying to do, as I told you initially, with this safe street food seal, we are basically trying to bridge the gap between the consumer who do not trust in street foods,
Yes.
so that they could have a faith. So what we are trying to do is basically there have been some experiments,
Okay.
of course, because we have teamed up with another player. So both of us, we have meetings and we are trying to see what we can do. The thing is that, so as you know, the idea is to have a sense of safety
All right.
with respect to street food and trust in consumers. So what we are trying to do is, it is still at a pilot stage. We are trying to go look for vendors. We are trying to sort of like inspect the markets and see how they are interested and what could be done. Because I feel it is a very great initiative. I feel that there are so many street vendors who could have a better approach and let's say a better platform if trust could be instilled between
The
the consumer and the street food vendors. Because as we are working on the field, we see that there are so many street food vendors who are actually buying products which are FSSAI marked, and then they are authentic. And but then somehow people do not have trust. We still feel that it is unhygienic. People are trying to consciously move towards healthy eating habits. And I feel here the street food can actually, make a difference. I'm trying to do by this, we are trying to broaden that category.
Okay.
There's a very set category that comes to a
Definitely,
particular.
definitely.
We just want to make everybody in India feel comfortable to go to the nearest Golgappa stall and have that Golgappa without thinking that the water is of a poor quality, or the man is not covered, he has not covered his hands.
Or the condiments.
Or the condiments, could be like it's contaminated and stuff.
Yeah.
That is what we are trying to do, sir.
Okay.
Because we are trying to create a parallel movement where people feel very free and happy and friendly and comfortable and safe, and they have trust on the street food vendors.
All right.
So I think that what we need to do at this point is, like, we need more collaboration, we need voice, we need, let's say, a little more funding, because it is a crunch. We are also doing a lot of tests. So what we are trying to do, we are going to do it in 3 tier, as we have decided. First will be a genuine inspection, where we look at the food and we could see through the physical visual inspection and the smell and the taste, and we could see whether the food is of a good quality or not. The second is, what we are going to do is, we are going to identify the major problems that they have, how you can overcome that trust, right? So trust building. So there we are going to do and talk about various ways of testing those food. For example, we already have a test kit, and we test the spices, we've tested milk. We actually did a program with them, Triple F, on the 15th of October on the World Food Day, where we actually launched our seal, and we did a lot of like food tasting and testing. So we could test the silver foil or aluminium on the sweets that we eat, whether there's color, are those colors synthetic that they use, how can we make it more sustainable? Because it is no longer a question of just putting in your whatever you're putting in your mouth. It is about eating healthy and safe food, and also in a sustainable manner. Because look at us, look at the world, look at the climate change, look at water deficiency that we have these days, right? And the quality of food, it is highly adulterated. Is this the kind of life we want to lead? Is this the kind of future we want? So what we need is collaboration, people coming together with more ideas, so that this has to be a success. Because
Great.
And we are going to pilot we are going to start with Delhi, and then we just hope that it goes global, and it sort of evokes a chain in the
Definitely. It's a
wheel.
good effort. Good effort.
Thank
But
you.
last but not the least, again, I'm reminded of one thing that I'm supposed to ask you one question. And which particular song would you like to, for our viewers in particular today?
I think let's end on a very philosophical and nice note. And this is one of my favorite songs, by one of my favorite actor, which is Devanand,
Okay.
sung by a very favorite singer of mine, Mohammed Rafi.
Rafi sir.
And the song is मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया.
All right, all
And
right.
I
Thank
would
you,
love-
thank you. Really, really, really enjoyed talking to you.
Same. Thank you so
And,
much for having
last
me.
but not the least, my dear viewers, please enjoy this particular song of Rafi Sahab. And in this particular song, Mr.
Hum
Mr.
dono.
Devanand
Yeah.
happened to be an actor. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will be present again in the next episode. Till then, have a good day.
जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ा. बर्बादियों का सोग मनाना फजूल था, बर्बादियों का सोग मनाना फजूल था, मनाना फजूल था, मनाना फजूल था. बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया, बर्बादियों का जश्न मनाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ा. जो मिल गया उसी को मुकद्दर समझ लिया, जो मिल गया उसी को मुकद्दर समझ लिया, मुकद्दर समझ लिया, मुकद्दर समझ लिया. जो खो गया मैं उसको भुलाता चला गया, जो खो गया मैं उसको भुलाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ा. गम और खुशी में फर्क न महसूस हो जहां, गम और खुशी में फर्क न महसूस हो जहां, न महसूस हो जहां, न महसूस हो जहां. मैं दिल को उस मकाम पे लाता चला गया, मैं दिल को उस मकाम पे लाता चला गया, मैं जिंदगी का साथ निभाता चला गया, हर फिक्र को धुएं में उड़ाता चला गया.